Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another salty Saturday morning. We had a little bit of a break, but we are back and stronger than ever with my fantastic panel of nerds. Now, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but over Labor Day weekend, Tom Connors Jr. was not seen on any live streams, which has led to a lot of speculation online that he has died. Tom Connors Jr. may have died.
He may have died.
Well, we know he didn't get a girlfriend. So
plus, there was all that bruising on his neck last week.
And we know, we don't know if there's any evidence to the contrary because he's not here. I haven't heard from him. So just take it with a grain of salt, though. Like Tom Connors Jr. may or may not be dead.
I heard Andre also canceled his vacations, and I don't know what that means, but
dude, they met up in Thailand and got kidnapped by a gang of girly boys.
I think
that would be an awesome end for Tom.
Yeah,
Mexican Iron Man might have done some friendly fire and hidden the body. Just
at his bunker. Mexican Iron Man took him to his bunker.
Exactly, something like that. But Dutch Butters is here. How you doing, Dutch?
I'm good. How are you, bud? I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah, man. Here we are. Took a week off, and I think I'm ready to talk about some nerd stuff nobody cares about. I know I don't care about any of it. So yeah, let's do this.
That's
a great way to start a podcast. I don't care about a thing we're talking about today.
No, it's all stupid. It's all dumb.
I hate it. It's all dumb. I don't want to be here. Like,
brother, fuck up. Get some lives, people. Jesus.
Yeah. Speaking about a thing nobody cares about, Brian from the podcast is here.
Hey,
Brian.
What's up? I'm trying so hard, maybe we'll care. I only got like 13 YouTube channels, constantly streaming and putting out videos and shorts. No one gives a shit. I don't know what to do. I'm glad to be here, man. Even better to be next to Odin again. I missed you, Odin, last week. I don't know why it is. It's weird. Whenever I don't have a week with Odin, I feel empty.
Oh man.
Like I didn't get enough people criticizing me.
Yeah, I think we all feel a little empty when we're not next to Odin.
I feel like your blood pressure would have to be going down in a week off, but
maybe it's because I'm so used to having high blood pressure that when I don't have that week with you and I calm down, something feels wrong. Because my new normal is high blood pressure.
Ryan, I feel empty when your brother is not on your show to mellow you out.
I don't know what to do about that, man. The guy just doesn't prioritize it the same way I do.
He's got like priorities straight
and live. Yeah. Like I prioritize the show. He prioritizes real things like his children and
it should go YouTube football family. That's
right. Shane actually goes to the restroom. Brian just uses a bottle. Like it's whatever.
Right.
But Brian,
he'll casually show up 15 minutes late. No big deal.
Brian, make sure you have your facts in front of you today, and that you always say, "In my opinion."
I have all my facts.
To qualify it. Yes.
And I even learned in my opinion in multiple languages for Odin's sake.
There you go. Speaking of which, Odin was late because he was eating his pineapple pizza. How you doing, Odin?
That is, I will not allow you to slander my good name with that heresy. No, my son was being a little difficult, but he's calmed down quite a bit, so that's good. I missed y'all last week too. Always enjoy doing these shows. It's always good to feel like I'm coming home for the weekend, and these are shows that are always help me mellow out a little bit from the week.
Well, guys, because we've been so inconsistent with our schedule, our viewership has dropped off a little bit, and I've been trying to come up with ideas in which we can, reach a new audience and bring them into the fold. And I don't know if you guys know about like these dance trends on TikTok.
Oh boy!
But these seem to be really popular with the youths. And so basically, like I enlisted Dutch and Brian to help me reach out to this new audience segment.
Oh no!
Through dance challenges.
Oh
so,
God! Oh God!
So I'm gonna show you a current video that's going viral on TikTok right now.
Oh boy!
And it's inspired by a dance trend, and we're gonna show you the original dance trend first.
Oh boy!
Then we're gonna show you how we have capitalized on that to promote our show. So here we go. So that's been blowing up on TikTok.
So why
and
does-
we're hoping to get more of the young audience here.
So
How
why
did you
does
get my
Dutch-
outfit so perfectly, bro? Like that, I literally wear that shirt and those pants every day. You even have my Bluetooth headset.
What-
Where
what do
did
you-
you get this?
But
what
I
are you
was
talking
wondering,
about? Like
why
you did that.
Why did Dutch look like Dutch? But Brian, I don't know who the hell that was because there might have been those things there, but your face, that was not you, man.
And my face was not as good as Dutch's, but you
Dutch's
somehow got my outfit perfectly. That is the outfit I wear to church like every Sunday. I have like 17 of those shirts and 3 pairs of those pants every Sunday. It's the same one. Where did you get that? Is there a picture of me out there with that exact outfit that you pulled from? I'm
has
so
to be.
confused.
There has to be.
I mean, you guys actually filmed that.
I mean, sure. Okay, we're gonna keep this going. Okay, we filmed that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's been going viral
dis-
on the TikToks.
Shoot, you even got my Bluetooth headset. What's
I
this
disavow
headset
this.
that I wear, but not on the show. I just wear it outside. Are you filming me while I'm working? I'm so confused right now.
Oh my goodness.
I know, like we rented out that stage for you too. and
Yeah.
It was just like,
I gotta be honest though, Dutch Butters, his face looked way better than my face. So,
well, his face always looks better.
yeah, it's true. That's not true.
It's like uncanny. It's creepy how uncanny the Dutch
Yeah.
Butters
I need
ones
to,
are.
And even like the words on his shirt were correct.
Yeah.
Like the AI is might be too much now. I think we're going too far, too fast.
Yeah.
No such thing as too far, too fast. Speaking of which, our goals for today are 10 memberships, which we'll be getting to in a little bit. But we also want to encourage everyone to, if you like the show and you get value from it, please share it around, recommend it to friends, because we're really trying to get to that 25,000 sub goal by the end of the year. And the end of the year is quickly approaching. We're entering into Q4 in just a couple weeks. So help us out if you don't mind. Also, Dutch, when you're not busy dancing, you're over there on Salty Nerd Discord doing watch parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's going on with Salty Nerd Discord?
Well, Salty Nerd Discord is growing every week. Every time we put a video out, a few people show up. So it's getting a good little group of people over there, mostly talking about video games and stuff. But last night we took a little detour and we watched. We had a watch party for Blade Runner, the final cut, and that was actually really good. Hadn't seen that in a while. I had a little good group for that, and we're just trying to hang out with the community a little bit more over there. So come on over and join us, and we'll do some watch parties and those kind of things. Good conversations, lots of video game stuff. It's good times.
Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, we got Mephisto's movie reviews, the Real McCoy podcast. He starts right after we finish our stream right here. But you know who else does that is Brian and the Brain Show. So if you want to see more dance moves, more hip dance moves, go check out the Brain Show immediately after the show is over.
What is it? The heart or whatever?
Yeah, the heart. And Brian, you pee in a bottle and then you go right into your stream.
Yeah.
Although I don't know why you can't just go to the bathroom in that 5-minute countdown time that like you always use.
Yeah.
Well, because usually during that time is when I'm setting all the stuff, like putting the chat on the screen, all that. The problem is there's not enough time for me to go. Like I can't have all that software open during this stream, So I gotta do. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes. So sometimes if I have chance, I'll run to the bathroom. But also if I leave my office in that time, I get accosted by my wife and children. So
If you
easier
have
to
that much
be in here.
computing power to like run these amazing AI programs, but you don't have enough power to open Windows on a stream?
Well, no, it's not just Windows. The problem is it's not the computing power; it's the crossover between the YouTube streams. Yeah,
Okay.
so it screws up like the scheduling because I'm part of the Salty Nerd stuff. Plus, I have the chats open, all that.
But Brian, is Shane going to be joining you today?
Yes, at the end of the show, for the last like 45 minutes, he'll be there. So it's gonna be me and John at first, and he's gonna come on after he's been a dad or whatever, and he's gonna talk to us about the Patrick, whatever his name is,
Bet
PBD.
David.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, we got some good topics today, bro. Like apparently, people thought Trump died. I got a bunch of video footage of
Just like Tom Connors. Yeah.
a bunch of liberals using like astrology and like chicken bones to like predict it and like going like clipping Simpson part, like just really feeding into the copium that maybe he died. There are hundreds of them out there. It's sort of wild. I got a lot of those to make fun of, which is fun. Like I said, the PBD stuff. He did this challenge where he talked to a bunch of liberals for like 25.
It wasn't liberals. It was communists.
Communists.
Yeah, full-fledged
And-
communist.
And he went into this offering them everything they wanted. I'm going to give you tickets to communist countries. I'm going to give you guys. I mean, and no one took him up on a single offer. He is so uniquely suited to be able to do this. Offer up hundreds of thousands of dollars to give these communists everything they dreamed about, and not a single person took him up on it, which is great.
Yeah, I love the exchange he had with that one guy where the guy's like, well, if you're not 6'5" and white, you can't make it in this country. And Patrick Bet-Davis sitting there is like, I'm a 5'9" Iranian.
Right.
it's like what makes you think you can't make it?
It was so crazy when he said that to the 5'9" millionaire Iranian guy. And we're also talking about some, we don't leave anyone out. We go after everyone, and MAGA is also on the list because there's a bunch of MAGA influencers just astroturfing for Indians for some reason. India, not like red dot India, not Native Americans.
Computer, not casino.
Yeah, which is a wild thing. So yeah, a lot of fun topics today. It's gonna be
The
great.
Epstein stuff. Trump
Yep,
continues to call it a hoax.
Hey, you know what?
I chose not to do the Epstein stuff this week because every time I put Epstein in my title or on my anything, I get no views. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know
did
who doesn't give a shit, Brian? Our Vice President JD Vance doesn't give a shit about anything.
No.
What you say, okay?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't care.
But I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but they came out publicly that Trump was an FBI informant on Epstein.
Oh my God.
Trying to take him down back in the day.
It's pretty rad.
So, yeah, they just released that information.
When do we get that movie? I want to see that movie.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. I know Odin has, but I finally got a chance to watch Thunderbolts because it's free on Disney Plus right now. Or I should say it's part of my subscription to Disney Plus at the moment. And I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty decent.
Of course you did.
I told you guys it's not a bad movie. It's just
What one?
a
I'm
movie.
sorry, I missed that.
Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers.
Oh,
not-
I watched that. It was terrible.
It's not that bad.
It was terrible, dude. What are you talking about?
If you compare it to all the other stuff we've got in the last 3 years, it's probably the best of all the slop.
But a comparison game, that's my least favorite argument because it's like, okay, this is the smallest pile of crap. It's still a pile of crap, but at least it's the smallest one. It's like
a turd is still
a turd.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. You're right. But we are movie reviewers. It's our job to make these comparisons.
Do you guys know how like sometimes you have to shit really bad and then after you shit you feel great? It was kind of like that.
So, so in a turd world, the movie was, the little deer pellet poops that you don't have to wipe when you're done instead of being a full-on splishy splashy diarrhea run.
Exactly.
Still shit. But
actually, I think you're being a little bit too gracious to it because
the dirt pellets.
That's the ideal. That's the ideal, and I don't think that this thing hits the ideal.
Well, guys,
I think Florence was really good. I think that really added to it, like because of her. Go ahead.
Speaking of turd pellets, the new Superman movie has been announced. Apparently, the not sequel to Superman is now coming. It's called, I believe it's called The Man of Tomorrow. And basically, James Gunn came out with like his tweet with Lex Luthor and his power armor and Superman, and that it's going to be out in theaters July 9th, 2027. And basically, he says it's not a direct sequel to his Superman. So I don't know quite what it is. This is apparently the next super family film that he was working on.
Well, because it's a direct sequel to Supergirl, dude.
But wouldn't that be the next super family film? If this is the next super family film?
No, Supergirl is not going to happen. It might have a cameo from Superman, but I doubt it'll have.
Yeah, we'll get to this. But here are some of the rumors about what Man of Tomorrow is going to be about. First of all, they're saying that Superman and Lex Luthor are going to team up versus Brainiac. So Brainiac's going to be the big bad. It's not a direct sequel to Superman, even though like Superman's going to be starring in it. It's also going to include Lobo, Hawkgirl, and Supergirl. Yeah. But also, so apparently Aaron Pierre and John as John Stewart and some of the people from The Flash and stuff like that might be involved.
It's a Brainiac story, dude. He's literally following a comic run right now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But a lot of people
I'll have confirmation of it when Supergirl comes out, but I'm almost positive the run he's following.
Well, a lot of people are speculating like what's going to be in Man of Tomorrow, but essentially like what the slate looks like is like they're going to do the Supergirl movie, and then they're going to have this movie kind of come out, and it's just going to kind of continue the storylines that's going on in the Green Lantern TV show, the Peacemaker TV show, and all this other stuff. So, but a lot of people have been coming out and being like, nobody gives a shit. Superman was a failure. James Gunn's an idiot. Blah blah blah. But I wanted to get the panels. Oh, I know you disagree, Brian. And we're going to get to your take in a second. But first, I want to go with the critic who's a cynic, Odin of OMB Reviews. What's your take on the announcement for Man of Tomorrow?
It's funny because the original title of Supergirl was Woman of Tomorrow. And I know that was apparently dropped like June of this year, but it's amazing. It's like, okay, so he was like, I'm going to actually use that title, but instead it'll be Man of Tomorrow for that one. And also, yeah, if it's not a direct sequel, once again, that doesn't make any sense. It has to be a sequel to that movie in some way, right? It has to be. And so honestly, it just seems like James Gunn's just talking out of his rear end like he always does, just trying to get stuff out there to get into the news cycle, try to stir things up a bit. And again, he's good at that. He's good at getting things stirred up quite a bit. But it's also, once again, just more confirmation of just how much of a mess everything currently is, at least narratively speaking. Again, the fact that you're going from Superman, which is all about kids' family audience being brought in, now you're going very, very, very hard R into Peacemaker. To a disgusting degree, and it's like, okay, what's next, and exactly what's the plan going forward? So honestly, yeah, I'm not surprised to hear him kind of put this out there, but it's also not surprising that he's, again, wording it in a way that, again, maybe for someone who's following this stuff, it might make more sense, but to a normie, they're going to say, wait, what do you mean this is not a direct sequel? Like that kind of language is going to confuse just the normal, everyday, regular person. So he just continues to prove that he should not be speaking publicly at this point. If he wants to be the creative, if he wants to be the head in that way, maybe he needs someone else who's better at words and better at public speaking than he is, because he's always putting his foot in his mouth every time he talks.
Better at words, indeed.
Yes.
You know who's very good at words is Brian. So I want to hear Brian's take on this.
I'm word good.
Yeah. Do you have your facts in front of you?
Yes, I got my facts in front of me, and in my opinions, estoy eso nua. Look,
don't be doing that around here. This is America, okay? We speak English.
That wasn't Spanish. Anyways, listen, guys. First off, Odin, this is not a direct
either, Brian.
This is not a direct follow up to the Superman 2025, because it'll be more of a follow up to Woman of Tomorrow, the Supergirl movie. And if you look at what he's doing, he's probably mixing a little bit of Woman of Tomorrow with a little bit of the Supergirl Volume 5, where, they introduced the Lobo character. And if that's the case, then we're going to probably see some kind of end teaser for a Brainiac team up. And that'll be the follow up.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Is there going to be a bisexual gangbang in the new Superman movie? That's all I really want to know. So,
but also, which movie were
you guys want my opinion, or what do you want?
No. This is actually a clarifying question since you're on the topic. Was your description you were just giving of what Supergirl is going to be, or what Superman's going to be? Supergirl
was more likely going to be, because it is Women of Tomorrow based, right? So like that was the inspiration initially. If you add in the Lobo part, then you're probably looking at like Krypton Returns, Escalation, number 5 kind of volume stuff.
Okay.
And if that's the case, then they're going to mix in the Woman of Tomorrow with the number 5 comics, and we're going to get an introduction to Lobo, the whole arc about Krypton and Kandor and all that, and we're going to get a hardcore Supergirl movie. Well, if that's the case, then by the end of that movie, I'm totally expecting to see some kind of Brainiac setup, for Brainiac, and that's why Man of Tomorrow will not be a direct sequel to Superman 2025, because of that Brainiac setup. The direct sequel is Supergirl, and it'll be a sequel to Supergirl, not Superman. And that's probably why he's calling it Man of Tomorrow, because Supergirl is based on Woman of Tomorrow. It's sort of it works narratively, and if I'm correct, then I can pretty much tell you at least half the plot for the next Superman movie, in my opinion.
I love that.
Estoy en mono.
Dutch, what's your take on this?
I don't have one, dude. I'm so confused. I really don't know what's going on in the DC whatever universe. Just the extended universe, the Gun universe, the official comic book universe, the universe X24-7. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Everything's such a mumbled, jumbled mess that it's hard for me to keep track of. Is this a rated R universe? Is this a PG universe? Is it a PGR universe? What's going on with this James Gunn
It's
stuff?
not that hard. To keep
I
track
have
of.
no idea. Is the stuff that we had with Jason Momoa and all those guys, the Snyderverse, is it canon? Is what's canon with what and how? Who mixes with who?
Dude, this Peacemaker isn't even that same Peacemaker. That's already been established.
I don't know, man. That's not what I heard earlier.
Rick Flag, the Suicide Squad, which was firmly in the Snyderverse.
There are similarities, but it's not the same Peacemaker.
But the Suicide Squad.
I'm not trying to spoil
canon.
anything, but it's not the same Peacemaker.
But they've established already that the Suicide Squad is now canon.
The Suicide Squad, the one we saw, it would happen in this universe for sure. But there are differences in this universe that set this Peacemaker apart. Just like there are differences in the alternate Peacemaker that he's trying to take over, the guy he accidentally killed. There's 99 doors in that room. At least half of them are leading to similar Peacemaker universes. So one of those, look, the ECU is canon. It's in one of those doors. It's just not the one we're following anymore. It's
the
just
only,
that
the
simple.
only way I'm going to have the only way I'm going to have
I get it. It's
interest
comic
in
book
this,
shit, bro. What do you want me from me?
Brian, the only way I'm going to have any interest in this at all is if they do the right thing and if Jason Momoa actually gets to play Lobo. If he's not
playing Lobo.
If he's not Lobo, I'm out. Is that been confirmed?
Jason Momoa is 100% Lobo in the Supergirl movie as an introduction, and then he'll also be Lobo in the next Superman movie.
Okay, well,
he is Lobo.
Then I might go watch it.
Well,
by the way, that guy was made in a lab to play Lobo. He's literally perfect. If Ryan Reynolds is perfect Deadpool, then Momoa is a perfect Lobo.
Depends on what kind of Lobo. Again, I'm not a comics person, so I don't know much about Lobo, but is it going to be the Jason Momoa version that he can play in the Fast and Furious films where you're like, okay, that's a little bit flamboyant? Or maybe in the Minecraft movie where, wait a minute, that's flamboyant too? Like, is it going to be like that? Or is it going to be like Aquaman?
No.
Who knows?
I think it's going to be more like Ronan Dex from SGA. That's what I think it's going to be more like that. A little more stoic with very specific glimmers of humor, and if that's the case, then that's what I want to see. I want to see this hardcore Lobo, the one that trades up with Supergirl, gets the upper hand, and then decides to be noble at the very last minute. I want to see that guy, the anti-hero, the guy who you don't know if he's the bad guy or the good guy until it comes down to the line. I want to see that Lobo. I want to see him do so well that they want to make a Lobo movie, because Lobo's a sick character.
Agreed.
Well, guys, kind of piggybacking off of this topic, the chief of Sony Pictures came out and made a public statement specifically about superhero movies and how like Sony has paused the Spider-Verse thing that they were doing. And it's crazy because it's called the Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters, or SPUMC for short. But he basically came out in an interview where he basically said, there was a period of time where anything superhero was almost guaranteed to do well. I think the bar for superhero movies, it was relatively low. In the mid 2010s, pretty much all of them would do incredible business, but now even superhero movies have a degree of originality. They have to add something different. They have to have an emotional connection. They have to be cultural events that can be marketed that way. You can't make a bad movie. And basically he's saying, like, in the past, you could make a shitty superhero movie and it would still profit. But nowadays, people have woken up and you can't make shitty movies anymore and expect them to make $1 billion, which I thought was a little bit interesting, especially considering the kerfluffle with the Superman movie. So I wanted to get everyone's take on that. Like, do you think Hollywood's waking up to the fact that they can't just like put out slop anymore and expect it to do well?
We can only hope. I mean, I have to look at this. When I read that, I just looked at it from my own perspective. I'm not a guy who goes out and watches a superhero movie anymore just because it has a Marvel tag attached to it. When they were going to like phase 2 and up to like phase 3, I was like, oh shit, there's a Marvel movie out. It's just like, I got to plan my weekend around this movie because we're going to go watch it. I don't do that anymore. And I haven't done that for quite some time. And, and it's because the quality of these movies have just tanked out and gone to the cellar. And when it comes to the Sony stuff, I heard they're a little bit better, but then I just kind of lost interest, with the Venom. I watched the first Venom movie. I think if I go back and think about it, the only movies that I've actually seen in the theater from the Sony universe are the first Venom movie and Morbius. Those are the only two. And I haven't even seen the rest of them. Venom 3 and Venom 2, didn't watch, haven't seen it, haven't watched them yet. Madam Web, nope. Couldn't give a shit about that movie. Craven, I see Craven every time I turn Netflix or whatever on, I think. And I was like, I just stare at it for a second and I go, I got something better to do with the next 2 hours of my life. So it's just no interest there for me. But you know what? If I saw Morbius on again, I'd probably watch it because it's fun and it's a good movie. Because Morbin Time is awesome, and no, there's just, and I consider myself kind of a normie when it comes to the Sony movies and superheroes and movie anymore. They got to do something very special to get me to go spend, $80 on a night to go to a theater to watch these movies. And
I mean, like outside of the Spider-Man movies, which I don't really consider Sony movies, like every single Marvel film that they've tried to make with these characters has been just terrible. It's been awful. And it's so bad that they decided to stop making them, because they were becoming a meme, right? But Brian Oden, what's your take on this guy saying that like you're no longer allowed to make bad superhero movies?
It's cool. You're no longer allowed to do it. Okay.
Just because they say that doesn't mean that's what's going to happen.
I mean, shit.
I don't think they know how not to make a bad movie.
I tell my kid all the time, you're no longer allowed to do this, and she still does it. I don't know, man. Like, that's a weird thing to say. You are no longer allowed to waste money. Okay.
And it's just like when Disney decided, oh yeah, we're gonna change course a bit, and it's like, well, we're still getting the same Disney schlock, and even the better of the Disney schlock is still just not worth seeing again, and really not all that good. I mean, when the best that you have in a year is Fantastic Four, like from at least from Marvel's side of it, it's like if that's the best you got, oh boy.
Well, I also think it stemmed from so Sony had the rights to Spider-Man essentially.
Yeah.
And a bunch of ancillary characters associated with Spider-Man, but they were mostly villains. And so they kept trying to take these villains and make them like heroes of their own movies in a weird way, and completely divorced of Spider-Man. And I just think audiences didn't care. I think they were just like, this is stupid. Why are we spending time on stuff that has no bearing on the actual MCU or Spider-Man or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a question. Why did they try to divorce them of Spider-Man? Why not have a Spider-Man cameo? Did they just not want to pay the bill?
I think it's because there's some type of agreement with Marvel where they can't use Spider-Man without Marvel's input or something like that.
Maybe they needed Marvel's input, those movies. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. Marvel hasn't exactly been.
No, you're right, but
knocking it out of the park lately.
But Sony's been messing up from the gets, though.
But I think they have to split revenue with Marvel and Disney if they use Spider-Man, and then these other characters they just had them free and clear. So
Madam Web could have been good. The premise. First off, I always forget her name, but the main actress is
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, Dakota Johnson is not a bad actor at all. Given the right script and the right talent, the right creative, they could have totally pulled off a really cool Madam Web. Madam Web's a cool character.
Well, the thing about
super rad character.
The thing about Madam Web is that it mainstreamed Sydney Sweeney into the normie consciousness, right? That was she was on that HBO show Euphoria before this, but nobody watched that fucking show. But a lot of nerds went out to see Madam Web and got exposed to Sydney Sweeney through that, and she used the marketing of that movie as well to really raise her profile and get people interested in her. And so the movie might have been a flop, but it was a hit for Sydney Sweeney.
But it could have been good. But the problem, had they had the right story, they had the talent there to actually make it. The super girls, the girls that work with her, Spider Girls, whatever. Spider Girls. They're not as important to the story. You could have had them just be cute and do their thing, and have Dakota Johnson carry the entire movie with the cool character that is Madam Web. Problem is, the movie didn't actually feature Madam Web. It featured pre-Madam Web. The entire movie was her really long, drawn-out, AI-written origin story, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. The main bad guy didn't make a whole lot of sense. A lot of the writing didn't connect. It's like different people wrote different parts of the script and they never really connected them together. And the director had to quickly connect them on set while filming. in a way that just didn't really track. I never, to this day, I've watched it twice. I don't understand the power set of the bad guy. I don't understand his power set. And even like basic camera angles, like don't add up. Sometimes you'll use camera angles to sort of like throw the audience off in a way that makes them feel uncomfortable by going left, right, not going front and center, panning out. But they just seemingly shot these certain scenes at such different times, and they didn't even try to like match up the same camera angle.
Well, Brian, the issue was that originally the initial cut of the movie, it was a period piece. It was set in the 90s. It was well before, the Spider-Man movies and stuff like that. And then like, for some reason, they decided that they needed to like reorient the movie to be present day and not take into account the current Spider-Man. Like it was supposed to kind of like be a little bit more consistent in the timeline of the Sony Spider-Verse. But for some reason, for whatever reason, they decided to change that up after the movie had been shot, and they had to go back and do reshoots and do a bunch of ADR to kind of like explain like the changes and stuff like that.
Don't do dumb things was a line. Yeah,
listen, there's a comment in the very last comment in there right now from Rick Lucy. If somebody wants to pull that up, it got me thinking. We're all sitting here trying to wonder and ponder about why these movies all across the superhero universe uses don't work the way they think they're going to. And I think it kind of touches on the thing that we're making movies about characters in comic books that many of them were just read by a small niche group of people in the comic book collecting world. Nobody knows who the hell Kraven is unless you were a Spider-Man fan. Same with Madam Web. I was never a big Madam Web person. So, if I want to see Kraven the Hunter, I better go be seeing a Spider-Man movie to see him go up against Kraven the Hunter. Nobody wants to see a movie about his origin. I'm sorry, they just don't, unless it's attached to a Spider-Man movie.
I don't know if I agree with you, bro. Well, I think if you do it right, then look, Rocket Raccoon was not a well-known character.
Exactly,
either.
because they made it a fun movie, with
right.
With
so if you make a fun movie with good writing, then even unknown characters.
But that's
can
not what
stars.
they're doing. They're not doing that. They're making shit movies.
But Rick's point of saying she was a minor character is not valid.
C-grade characters that nobody gives a shit about.
Because you can take you can take shitty characters and make good movies.
Brian, I don't disagree with you, but the thing that kind of stands out with the Guardians of the Galaxy is that they were part of a much larger story that people were invested in, which gave them the gateway into seeing like these C-list characters and raising their status up because it was a good. It
helps when
movie.
your universe is doing so well that people will watch anything in it no matter what.
And you had the right actors too. Like it takes all those things working at the same time to create a phenomenal movie like that.
Right.
All those elements need to be there. Because, for instance, had you had The Mummy, right, which flopped with Tom Cruise, had you had a better story, but you didn't have Tom Cruise, it still wouldn't have done well. Look, even if you had the right story, even if it had all those right, you need to have all those elements together. You need to have the right names. You need to have the right story. You need to have every aspect covered in order for you to get kind of a hit.
I don't agree with that. If the Mummy had better writing, it would have been well.
We wouldn't be having this conversation today. None of these YouTube channels that everybody watches these days, including all of ours, would not be here if not for one thing. If it wasn't for the normies like my wife going crazy over Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man 25 years ago. Because that hit the nerve with the normie population that goes out and watches movies. That movie was fantastic and it sparked something, but it was because Robert Downey Jr. embodied Tony Stark.
Yeah, but did he embody him in the trailer? I think he won the audience over with the movie.
Mm-hmm. The trailer got them interested though.
Right, I mean, everyone was trailers like, do, but
we put way too much emphasis on what we as nerds like and not enough what the normie people out there who carry these movies want to see. And it is not bullshit like Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter and fucking Ricky Raccoon. It's just not. So that's my
Brian, I do want to also point out that The Mummy, written and directed by Alex Kurtzman. So at no point would that ever have been.
Not talking about like the fun Mummy from back in the day.
I'm not saying it was good. I'm saying that if you had different people that actually cared about the writing and the directed better creatives, they could have made a better movie. Look at Tom Cruise.
You can say that about every movie. You can say that about every movie.
But I was talking box office, specifically box office.
What you were saying was that Mummy wouldn't work regardless. I disagree with that.
No. I said box office. I said if you had, let's say you had that same Mummy narrative, right? But let's say you maybe changed everything, like you had no real big name actors in it whatsoever, like not a name like Tom Cruise to carry initial interest, but your story at least was better, that it still would not have been a financial success. It would have been just as much of a flop, if not even more, because at least the Tom Cruise one had Tom Cruise to carry some people over.
I don't understand what you're saying, man.
So what I'm saying is
I really
that
want to understand,
it's
but I'm not
just
hearing.
the actors. It's also not just the writing, and it's not just those like individual things. It's all those things have to be working together to make a film that's not only good, but also can bring people that actually want to come see it.
I think that you are referring to big budget popcorn blockbusters, because I've seen plenty of movies that don't have notable talent, notable actors, but the writing is solid that become cult classics and spawn franchises. Like you can make a movie without the perfect
Post-theatrical,
setup.
correct?
Oh, I mean, yeah, usually, yeah, because it requires people to finally see it after years. But like,
I'm a box office guy, so I'm talking about the actual box office.
So you're talking about the big movies.
Yeah.
Because I've seen plenty of movies spawn franchises before anyone even knew what they were, before anyone knew the names of the people in the movie, before anyone knew what director or writer it was. Like, a good movie is a good movie. And I think if you have a good movie and a decent word of mouth, you'll eventually be successful with a film.
Guys, speaking of successful, we got some super chats we got to get to. Jeremiah Hembry, a member for 5 months. Tom on DC Nation on YouTube. James Gunn breaks down each episode of Peacemaker. I don't let you know. Okay. Want to give a big shout out to Major Chai Chai, who gifted 5 Salty Nerd Podcast memberships, getting us close to that goal of 10. Thank you so much, Major Chai Chai. Mexican Iron Man, member for 30 months. Let's go. I'm listening on from the tax bunker on Hilton Head Island, where Tom Connors, EBN Nick, and I have been wreaking havoc for over a week. So are you saying Tom Connors is alive, Mexican Iron Man? Alive and well, eating cereal somewhere in a bunker? I hope so. Kalikioki for $2. My vacation may cure Tom's, the vacation may cure Tom's Superman boner. It's possible. It's possible. You might get some Mexican girls down there. Who knows? In the bunker. Mephisto's movie reviews for 15 shekels. We also took a week off, but tonight we start our fall classic with baseball films for September, starting today with Field of Dreams. And Kalikioki for another $2. Dutch dancing is the stuff of nightmares. Please add Odin.
I 100% support that comment. Yes, take me the hell off that thing.
And Eric Wittenberg gifting 1 Salty Nerd Podcast membership, as he always does. Thank you, Eric. Brings us our total of 6. So we just need 4 more to hit that goal, guys. If we don't hit that goal, Dutch is going to quit. He's always threatening to quit.
Yeah, I thought I was going to quit last time. I guess I can leave whenever I want.
You've quit several times, I feel, over the course.
Yes, but then we need him to do TikTok dances and he comes back. So guys,
I'm going to get a lawyer.
Speaking of box office, I don't know if you heard about this, but Fandango is now turning TikTok into a ticket selling kiosk where you can actually buy your tickets through TikTok. So if you see like a piece of content for a movie or whatever, and you like it, you just tap a link on the video and it takes you right to Fandango to buy your ticket for your local theater. And when I saw this, I was actually kind of impressed because I think that this is the type of like outside the box thinking where it's like, okay, who's on TikTok? Young people, teenagers, stuff like that. What do they like to do? They like to watch movies. How do you get them in the movie theater? Go to where they're hanging out and give them the opportunity to purchase tickets. So I wanted to just bring this to your guys' attention. Basically, Disney is the first one who's actually taken advantage of this, where basically they've partnered up with Fandango to sell tickets to Tron Ares, which is coming out soon. And basically, if you see a trailer for Tron Ares on TikTok nowadays, you can actually buy your tickets directly through TikTok. And I actually think that this is a very smart business move, especially considering the fact that TikTok Shop is very popular. So a lot of people already have their payment info on TikTok and stuff like that. But I wanted to get panel stake. So Odin, what's your take on basically being able to buy tickets through TikTok?
So the way you worded it, though, are they actually buying it through TikTok, or are they just clicking a link that takes them externally to Fandango.com?
So Fandango has incorporated with TikTok's like system or API or like whatever.
Okay.
So it's a partnership where Fandango runs the ticketing sales, but everything is paid for through TikTok.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I'm just trying to figure out how all that works, because then it's like if TikTok's involved, do they get a cut of the ticket sales? Is there now like a third, like it's now TikTok via Fandango, like the studio selling you a ticket via Fandango via TikTok? It just sounds like there's too many chains of stuff going on there.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Sounds like a lot of work. And that's why I feel like it's like I'm kind of wondering. It's like, okay, is it that it's just now opening up, just like on Twitter or anywhere else? You click a link and it opens it up like within the app, but it's not really in the app. It's opening up just a link kind of in a browser. It's just that your app is using the browser within itself.
So-
Some apps
so
have that, and
it's
if that's the case, then maybe it has an integration so that you can
it's
add that payment method.
It's an in-app integration,
Okay,
essentially.
gotcha. So
Yeah.
again, I mean, to me, it's not really out of the box. It's like, why the hell have they not done that yet? It's like, why aren't they like that's something they should be doing everywhere. Anywhere their trailers are playing, they should already have these sites, putting links, even if it's not within TikTok's system directly or an Instagram system or wherever. Like, they should already be having that so that people can access movie ticket sales. That seems like a no-brainer to me.
Well, Brian, so Hollywood entities like the Box Office Network have said that TikTok users are 44% more likely to go see a movie at least once per month compared to non-users. And this integration is going to be so beneficial for actually like keeping movie theaters alive and getting new blood into the movie theaters,
Right.
as opposed to people who have now kind of trained themselves to like wait for the stuff to come to streaming and then watch it at home. So what's your take on this? Do you think that this is a smart business move?
No, I don't think this is going to work. First off, people have their own theaters. Not everyone is rocking AMC or Fandango. And if you're already a moviegoer and you have your own theater, then you're not going to want to buy your ticket from TikTok or or whatever. You're going to want to go into your app or your website for the theater that you frequent, get your nice cool reward points, and sit in the seat that you like to sit in the theater you like to sit drive to, et cetera, et cetera. You're not going to just go find some random theater off of Fandango or whatever. Even if you're a Fandango user, like there's so many variables there. Clicking from an app to Fandango. If I want to watch that movie, I'll just open up my Fandango app. I don't need TikTok to do it.
But Brian, so like this integration with TikTok, everything's done through the TikTok app. They're not leaving the app to make these purchases, and they can choose their theater, they can choose their seats. It's all like just like going through the Fandango app. It's just
right, but
now the portal's TikTok.
It's not the same. So like if you're an AMC club member, if you're a Cinemark movie whatever member, these different theaters, Regal, they have their own memberships and their own free reward systems that do not work with Fandango. So Fandango is maybe trying to get ticket sales here, but if you're already a moviegoer to any degree, you're going to use the theater where you get your reward points, and you're not going to get those reward points by going through Fandango because that's not how it works. So if your goal is to capture new people, I don't think TikTok's like you're going on an app where they watch 30-second videos and you're trying to get them to buy a ticket to go watch a 2-hour-long movie. Like, good luck with that, bro. That's not the right market.
But I mean, like this statistic, 44% of people are at least likely to go to the theater once a month off of TikTok, right?
I don't know how true that is, dude.
I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
Sounds great. That sounds
Right.
crazy.
What's your take, Dutch?
I'm not going to buy a ticket off of TikTok. But
I don't think we're the audience, though, Dutch.
Probably not. Yeah, for real. I have a TikTok thing that I put some shorts on, but I push the button, load it up, and then I don't pay any attention to it anymore ever again. So it's just I use it strictly to drive a little bit of extra traffic over to the YouTube page, and then it probably isn't doing very much. But I'm not a TikTok guy. I think TikTok's going to go away pretty soon, and is that even still a thing? Is Trump getting rid of TikTok? What's going on there?
So Trump has basically said that he is going to extend the relief on the ban indefinitely until they get a deal. So TikTok's not going anywhere.
Okay, so maybe I'll start paying a little bit more attention to it, because I hadn't been going to TikTok because I just assumed it was going to be leaving. So maybe I'll start putting a little more effort there. But no, me personally, I am never going to be purchasing a ticket for a movie off of TikTok. It's just not going to happen. I have a couple apps to the local theaters that I like to go to, and I use those to get my free popcorn or drink once in a while, or $5 off a movie ticket. And that's just how I buy tickets. So I guess, but like Brian said, I'm not the audience. So maybe there's some young people that are going to be doing this, but I don't see it being super crazy. Go ahead, Brian.
If you want people to come to the theaters and not wait for it to come on VOD, there's two things you can do. A, make better fucking movies so people want to watch them and not wait. B, make mediocre movies, but don't let them come out 3 weeks later on VOD. Make people wait.
Yep.
That is the way. But they will never do that because they're greedy bastards. And most of these studios are ran by not by creatives, but by suits that don't know how to rein in bad creatives and just break the bank on them, and don't know how to give good creatives the freedom they need to make good movies. So you're not going to get that one. And the same studios are so greedy that they just love that sweet VOD vein of money they get 3 or 4 weeks later. So they're never going to give that up. But you know what? If you make a good movie, I mean, dude, Demon Hunters is proof. They had a 2 or 3 day total release time, right? My kids saw it like 3 times. I went broke taking them, and everyone wanted to go watch that movie, even after it already come out on VOD and they've already seen it.
I had something I was going to say. I don't remember what it was. I did watch the first half of that Demon Hunters movie, and I actually want to take some time to go finish it.
It's a great movie.
It's actually not too bad.
Not a bad movie.
Not what I was expecting at all.
I watched the first 20 minutes yesterday. I'm going to finish it later.
But
I didn't finish it because it wasn't my cup of tea, not my cup of tea, but it's still, music's great.
But what I was going to say is you touched on it a second ago, Brian, when you were talking. Half the reason I didn't go watch a lot of movies this summer, except for Superman, I think Superman was like the only thing I went and bought tickets for this summer to go watch, is because I know I'm going to be able to watch them all 3 weeks later on my computer or on TV in one of the streamers. There's no reason to invest that kind of money when I'm going to be able to see it in a couple weeks. And they have to get away from that marketing. They have to quit doing that. If they ever want the theaters to make movies, if they ever want the movies to make money in theaters again, they have to change that back to where it used to be, like a minimum of like 6 months before they put that stuff out on streaming. Minimum. So,
I mean, the release window has had the biggest impact for sure, but it's not a rule. And the example that we can always go to is what happened with the Five Nights at Freddy's, right? That film, day and date release, in fact, day and date release, still had a good box office run. So I think what we also need to realize is that the bigger issue for Hollywood is not really even the release schedule of how they put things on VOD. It's they got to make movies that actually have people that want to go see them, or at the very least make movies that people want to see. Because if they make something that people want to see on a big screen, they will go and see it, whether it's on VOD or not. And the fact that there are films where that has happened, with both day and date release or even short release windows, just proves that fact. So no, the issue is Hollywood is just, again, making garbage stuff. And the fact that most films end their theatrical run in the red just kind of, again, proves that point even further.
Well, what's interesting here is like the whole marketing paradigm for big Hollywood films is changing, and Hollywood seems kind of slow on the uptick on it because, when you have like cord cutters, right, where you have like people who are moving away from like traditional television and moving towards streaming services, especially the ad-free tiers. People don't know what's coming out. People don't know what's in the pipeline. Like even YouTube, with like if you have YouTube Premium, you don't see any commercials, right? And what's interesting, and this article talks about it, is that 50% of domestic TikTok users discover new movies and TV shows through the app, right? And so basically, like the new place to buy advertising to promote your movies and TV shows and stuff like that, it's not terrestrial TV, it's not terrestrial radio, it's Instagram, it's TikTok, it's these social media platforms. Because I know that my wife, like, she found out about Weapons, that movie, through TikTok. Like people were just raving about it on TikTok. She's like, I want to go see this movie. And so the idea that now you can not only create discoverability through TikTok and through these social media platforms, but you can also create a direct to purchase funnel through this discoverability system. And I think that that's kind of a game changer that we're just now starting to see kind of like pop up, on the landscape of, big Hollywood movie marketing and stuff. And I think that's also one of the reasons why Hollywood is so obsessed with getting actors who have big Instagram followings. It's because they know most people are now,
Yeah, but it's not
doing their
working, bro.
discoverability.
It hasn't worked for like, dude, the whole hire the Instagram or hire the guy with a lot of social reach doesn't work. These movies always flop. Like, are you kidding? Like, how's Zendaya doing in the box office, bro? Like just because someone has a lot of followers doesn't mean they're gonna get those followers to go watch a movie.
Dwayne Johnson, great example. Black Adam,
great example.
Right?
But Dwayne Johnson has so many followers and so much reach, and Black Adam barely. I don't even think it made money. It might have lost money, but it definitely didn't make money.
When it comes to marketing, though, it's not necessarily about direct, one-to-one, like, oh, I went and saw that movie. It's about creating awareness about it, right? So like when you have someone like Zendaya who has like 62 million followers or something crazy like that, like just her posting about the movie creates awareness and discoverability that would make it more profitable than it normally would be if she wasn't doing that.
So you're telling me these movies would have lost even more money because like she's not possible, her movies are not profitable. Like I mean,
I don't know about that. I mean, like, I think that her movies, like when they don't have like these huge budgets behind them, do pretty well, simply because of like her presence in them.
Well, then they're picking her for with the wrong idea in mind, because like her movies don't make a lot of money. I'm forgetting her name right now, but there's another actress / singer that just came out with a new sort of
Sabrina Carpenter,
right? There was a while where they were choosing her for TV roles because of how big her following was, and guess what? It didn't work out. She would slip right back into her normal MO. I don't think picking someone because they have a big following is how you should pick your actors. You should cast because that person is right for the role. It's so weird. I feel like a lot of the decisions made by these studios are so like they just smell of dirty suits that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like they just like, well, we want to formalize and make this a scientific formula on how to make money. That's not how it works. Like it's a creative product. If you want the closest thing to a scientific formula to making money is make a good product, market that good product, and and hopefully you'll make more than you spent. But this whole Instagram, first off, I don't know anyone that even uses Instagram and then clicks off of it. I used to do SEO marketing. Instagram is such a black hole because so many people put so much importance on this platform that you can't even link out from. So there's no way to really follow it anywhere. Sell tickets. Let's say you have 100 million followers. Can you put a link to where you buy your movie from? A trailer link? Anything? You can't.
You can in your stories.
In your stories. That's proven that only like 18% of the platform utilizes. Right? So, okay, hold up. You look at a platform that all these studios and all these business people and all these professionals put so much importance on, but the users are trapped there. Like once you're using that platform, the way out, there's no way out. So you're either using Instagram or you're not. Unlike other platforms like YouTube. I mean, hey, if these people had a bunch of followers on YouTube, you'd probably be better than Instagram. It'd probably be more valuable to have 100 million followers on YouTube than it would be on Instagram, because there's more of an out track. You can actually market something on there, or Twitter or whatever. But Instagram is a black hole because once you're using Instagram, that's what you're using. And the few ways you can get out of it are not ways most people use the platform for. In fact, I would argue TikTok is better for marketing a product than Instagram.
And I would I think that the other thing too that you're kind of like hinting at is as well is kind of like almost the issue with putting the movie ticket link is that yes, you obviously have that potential for people to kind of utilize it in that way, but at least as far as the kids are concerned, right, being someone who's a teacher who sees how they use the social media and how they are very open about like their screen time and things like that, they are just so often just scrolling through mindlessly. Even if they find something they like, they're just going to maybe like it and then move on. Most of them. Now, again, they'll probably get some sales, Like, again, because if it's there, some people are going to use it, right? And maybe it's enough for them to justify whatever partnership they have, and maybe that's what they've already kind of baked into it. But it is interesting that, again, most of them probably just going to be like, I'm just going to keep on going. And I push back a little bit on the Zendaya thing. I don't think that she's a box office draw, but she has been in, obviously, the Spider-Man films. Obviously, she was not the draw for that movie, but she was still in it. And also, people forget The Greatest Showman, which was another massive box office hit.
Wasn't her that drew that.
No, it was not. And that's why I started off with that saying. So I'm just saying her movies don't make money. It's like, if you mean the movies that she's like the starring role or lead in, most actors don't have films that make money.
Well, but they're picking her based on the fact they think that she can bring her audience to a movie.
It's a false perception of social media.
Challengers flopped, right?
Yeah.
Here's my biggest issue with this whole idea of picking someone who has a large following. Well, this person can guarantee us seats. That's not how it works. Like, she doesn't have a following because of how great of an actor she is. I actually don't have any idea why the hell people follow her. But it's not because of her acting. Now, if it was like someone who was only known for their acting and their movie clips and their various content was revolved around their movies, then maybe that would be the reason someone would go watch. But just like on YouTube, you have different niche audiences. You take like my content from the podcast and put it on a channel that primarily focuses on gaming. Guess what? It's not going to get a lot of views. Like the people following you and following your content, your audience is tied to your content. And if Zendaya is known for bikini pics and makeup videos, then that audience is not going to go watch fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, you know who agrees with you, Brian, is Fluffy Panda for $5. F those people. They get catered to and they ruin everything. The 5-second attention span audience, they ruin wrestling, movies, and series. Idiocracy come to life.
Yeah. Can't believe I'm agreeing with you, Fluffy, but you're right, buddy.
No, it's true. I'm looking through this. I got this Rolling Stone article up from the 26th about the top 25 influencers. And I haven't heard of 2/3 of these people. I've heard of some of them. But, like Mr. Beast is like number 7 on this list. And I've heard of maybe a couple of the people above him. Caleb Huron. Who the hell is this guy? Quinlan Blackwell. I don't know who these people are. So who are these people? Who are they trying to market to?
Yeah.
It's so weird to me.
Can I tell you that the problem with a lot of these influencers and the reason why you haven't heard of a lot of these people, bro, is because like their audience. I'm old. I'm not their audience. But it's also because their audience isn't real.
Right.
So their audience is spread out on platforms that you don't visit, and the actual or their children. So like Miss Rachel is number 3 on this list that you're looking at, right? Her entire following is a bunch of children that can't buy tickets, can't buy anything, that have no buying power. So they're not. Her audience is not as valuable as Mr. Beast.
But what I'm finding very interesting, and I know we're probably diverging away from where Matt wanted to take the conversation today, but last night was the second game of the NFL season. Okay. I'm into it. I want to watch some football. I love football. Football has been going down a weird path lately because they had this game with the Chargers versus the Chiefs last night from Sao Paulo, Brazil, because they want to get the international thing out there. Had the world's worst national anthem at the beginning of it. But what was cool, what was not cool, what was weird about it is you could only watch this game on YouTube. Okay, number one, which I'm sure pissed off a million NFL fans. I'm almost positive it did, because now you got to get YouTube to watch a football game. But the other thing that was weird is that they had this thing on like all these different channels that were being hosted by different YouTube streamers, and like one of them was like iShowSpeed, who is the number 1 guy on this list. So I turned out on his channel, and it was just him sitting there in his studio watching the game and interacting with the chat, and it was dog shit.
Oh my god, dude,
fucking bad.
This list doesn't make any sense, bro. Yeah, he has 20% of the following that Mr. Beast has. So this is this whole entire list is based on someone's fucking retarded opinion.
I just pulled up a list.
No wonder why Mr. Beast is number 7. He has almost 1 billion followers. Yeah, and you're giving the number 1 slot to the guy with 100 million. Are you joking?
I'm not really I don't really give a shit about the order of the list. What I'm trying to say is that they're trying to use these people to peddle NFL football and things that normal people like,
right,
in ways that they're trying to get it out there to a bigger audience, I guess, the YouTube crowd. And I don't really think the YouTube crowd is all that interested in watching NFL football unless they want to know what's going on with fucking Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, you know, which is a whole other topic that we could get off on.
Couple things before we move on. So first of all, YouTube has overtaken cable as the living room app, right? Like more people are watching YouTube on their TVs now than people are watching on cable. Okay, so
100%.
It's a good move to move, you know, NFL and wrestling and stuff like that to YouTube,
but you know
that's where people are watching.
You know who didn't watch that NFL game last night, who are NFL fans? People older than me. My parents wouldn't have a fucking clue how to get on and watch the football game yesterday. They wouldn't even have known it was on YouTube.
Okay, fine. Second thing, iShowSpeed is one of like the biggest like concurrent streamers.
I get
so when he's on Twitch or when he's live on YouTube or whatever, I'm just saying why they ranked him higher than Mr. Beast. It's not about like his sub count. It's about the fact that he has tens of thousands of people, like up to 50,000 people watching him when he's live.
So is that list a Twitch list? Because Mr. Beast,
it's an influencer list. It's about how many,
but Mr.
how many
Beast
people
has
you can
100 times the views.
But Mr. Beast has also had 100 times the controversy surrounding him and stuff like that.
So is iShowSpeed though, bro?
Yeah, true.
What are you talking about? Remember him in Japan last year?
It hasn't impacted him as hard as it has Mr. Beast.
Because he's on Twitch. Because he's on Twitch and not on YouTube. Because he's less known.
He's on both.
No, but but he's barely on YouTube in comparison to Twitch. If he was as known as Mr. Beast, that Japan shit would have canceled him.
Brian, just to be fair, Mr. Beast was actually the host of the whole thing. He kicked everything off. He was the guy who started the whole thing off last night, because I watched it. I wanted to know how it was going to go down, and it was just, as an NFL football fan, it was dog shit, guys.
Yeah, I don't know why Mr. Beast is getting hosting abilities,
but
like, let Mr. Beast be Mr. Beast. I think the industry is trying to turn him into something he's not.
Well, but the thing is,
he's a YouTuber, man.
The thing about Mr. Beast is that he has worldwide recognition because he does a lot of his content in different languages as well. So he's known in like Sao Paulo, he's known in Brazil, he's known across the world. And so it makes sense to have him be the face of like the YouTube forward-facing like NFL stuff. But with iShowSpeed, and I'm sure Odin can attest to this because he's part of like one of the biggest live streams on YouTube, which is, you know, Salty Nerd Podcast, but no, Friday Night Tights. and basically, like, when you have like a hardcore live stream audience who shows up for like your live stream, spends hours with you, interacts with chat, is part of your community, that gives you so much more power to direct them to buy certain things or do certain things than people who just watch a YouTube video. So like the live chat community aspect of iShowSpeed gives him a lot of power and flexibility to, you know, send his minions out to like either buy something or do something or, you know, interact in some way, shape, or form. And it's about that community. Like, influencers are really about their community. It's not necessarily about their following. It's about like how reactive their community is to what they ask them to do.
I'm not downplaying iShowSpeed, bro. What I'm saying is he shouldn't be number one on that list. That list was obviously a very subjective list written by someone who finds iShowSpeed to be more compelling than Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I don't think Asmongold's even on that list.
Which is crazy. Asmongold is massive. Like, if you take the numbers, if you're trying to like make it a formula, hard science formula, then Mr. Beast should be reigning supreme on top of his follower mountain and his view kingdom, because the guy does numbers that like it would shock people 10 years ago. But imagine, man, like the Super Bowl couldn't even compare to the numbers that Mr. Beast does.
I would like 1% of anybody's following on this list.
Yeah.
I could retire and play games.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's why any list like that, it's going to depend on what metrics they are looking at, because views are not the same as active watchers, are not the same as, so again, that could be a factor. But also too, every list always has that level of subjectivity to it. Just reminds me of that really crappy list that we went through on FNT the other day about like the top MCU projects, like ranking every single one of them was like the top 50 or something, and where they put certain films on that list and certain shows on that list was hilarious, to say the least.
Well, guys, speaking of metrics, let's talk a little bit about the summer box office disaster that the Hollywood Reporter is touting, even though like it's only like $7 million off from like last year. It's kind of weird. But basically, guys, men are to blame because a lot of the male-oriented movies haven't been making $1 billion. And there's this big article about like the summer box office. Domestic revenue barely matches what it made last year. They're saying that it's a huge failure. But the biggest thing that I took away from this article is that basically the foreign market has collapsed for American movies, and they didn't make as much money on foreign box office as they did. Like the domestic box office was pretty much like standard for like what the summer should be, right? But it's in the domestic box office that things kind of cratered, in particular China, right? So like in previous years where they were making money hand over fist in China, nowadays it's like, you know, like they've been pulling back. And I just think it's interesting because like everyone's saying like doom and gloom when it comes to like Hollywood and this summer's like, you know, domestic box office and stuff like that. But I think really, what it really comes down to is what we were talking about in some of the previous sections, where it's like, number one, they're not making good movies. They're not making movies that have to be seen in theaters. And they don't know how to market these movies anymore because nobody's watching commercials on TV. And the ones that are watching them on streaming, like, tune them out, right?
Yeah, I'm being forced to against my will. Right.
Exactly. So there's this kind of like idea in this article that Hollywood is in trouble simply because the foreign market isn't showing up for domestic, you know, U.S. movies anymore. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not because they're not showing up. It's because like Hollywood's been doing such a bad job of making movies that people actually want to see, especially overseas, that, you know, like nobody cares anymore. They're just going to wait for streaming. So I want to go to our box office maven, Odin, on this. Odin, what was your take on this article?
I will be honest. I did not read the the article in question, but I generally understand like kind of where it's coming from. What's interesting to me is, and really the first question is it just looking at the United States domestic? Is it looking at the worldwide box office just for the summer, the entire year? Like, I guess what is that metric it's using? Because I would be kind of interested to see if they're using a worldwide metric, if they're including the supposed almost $2 billion, I put that in quotes, from Ninja 2 in China, which people are still saying is a legit number from China.
Well, what they're talking about here, so basically they talk about the domestic box office, right, which they say is on par with what it was last year. Mm-hmm. But the real difference is in foreign box office for domestic movies. So basically the movies that America exports aren't making the type of foreign box office that they were in previous years, especially pre-COVID. And so this summer in particular was really bad because I think like the domestic box office was like cut in half or something like that. Mm-hmm. And basically they're saying that with this shift, Hollywood's in trouble because they can't recoup the money that they've invested in these movies without the foreign box office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I mean, we're absolutely, you know, seeing those kinds of numbers here. I was just going to my chart here for a second, and for the total year right now, total domestic is at around $5 billion. So that's at this point. Last year, I think the number for 2024 was a total of around $16 billion domestically. So, boy, I don't know if we're necessarily going to get there. You got obviously films like Avatar that are probably going to get that number a little bit closer. I think Zootopia is going to maybe get that a little bit closer. But what's interesting to me is that without China, all of the other international markets only account for about $5.3 billion. So that is definitely something that just on the surface, I'm already like red flags going off, because when you have a almost 50-50 split between your domestic and international, that's a big problem, right? And, you know, obviously, you know, there is going to be a couple of films that have some bigger numbers coming out of China. You know, a great example of that would be something like Jurassic World Rebirth, for instance. But still, the fact alone that you're still looking at almost a 50-50 split between them for all films released in 2025, you know, both domestically and, of course, their international counterparts is kind of insane. That you're seeing that, because the old adage used to be, let's get a 60-40 split, 60% of your big movies getting the money, you know, 60% of that audience coming from the international markets, 40% of it coming from your domestic markets, and then you get a lot more back domestically than internationally. But if you're making that much more internationally, it can usually, you know, make up for that and maybe make extra money that otherwise you wouldn't be making in the first place. But yeah, all the biggest films this year, for instance, did not see that same split. That's why one of the biggest problems for a film like Superman, and for a film like, even more so for a film like Fantastic Four and others, was that they were not getting anything, really, any traction whatsoever in those international markets. Whereas films like F1 and Jurassic World Rebirth, we're seeing still a lot of numbers, big numbers coming out of those markets. So it's all about your films and everything else. And so, yeah, it's another reminder that when people try to paint the rosy picture of how well certain films are doing or certain studios are doing, the overall Hollywood machine is suffering quite a bit.
Yeah, and Brian, one of the big things in this article that kind of stuck out at me is that the F1 movie, which was an Apple original, like they put it out in theaters. First and foremost, it stars Brad Pitt. It buried Superman in terms of like box office, not just domestically but internationally, which I thought was a little bit surprising. It's actually like one of the best performing movies of the year so far. And it's gone completely under the radar. I think like everyone who's watched it loved it, but like nobody's talking about it really. It's just kind of like one of these like low key like box office successes. And once it comes to streaming, which you can already rent it, but I think like once it's free on Apple or like whatever, a lot of people are going to go check it out and watch it there. But when you compare it to Superman, which was like this huge tentpole, it was a thing that Warner's was really kind of like banking its entire like strategy on for the year, and saying that like it surpassed Superman. That's kind of a big deal. And I think a lot of that was because the domestic was better for it, because F1 is such a worldwide brand, especially overseas. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that they're looking at this backwards. They're not looking at the fact that the movie, well, first off, movie quality overall has declined. Instead of trying to capture the international market with international market kind of tricks, well, we need to put a giant kaiju in it, or do this, or play to a specific market or whatever. I think that instead of doing that, just do what made Hollywood successful in the first place, and make kick-ass movies for the United States. There's a reason why our domestic ran the box office, was because we used to dictate what was popular. Hollywood would dictate what was popular, what was cool, what to buy. Well, we're falling out of that, and instead of going back to making really good products and having pride in our creatives, we're now trying to chase the international market in a way that I think is just going to compound the problem. If you're not the tastemaker, then you're trying to please the foreign market, and they're going to become the tastemakers. I think we can go back to being the tastemaker. Just arrogantly decide what is popular, what is cool, and what people want to buy and watch, and the rest of the world will follow.
Yeah, absolutely. As Mr. Kadish is taking a bio break, we can continue the conversation. Dutch, what are your thoughts on this?
You go in host mode?
Sure, why not?
Do it, man. My take on it is the same take I've had for the last couple shows. I don't think people go to the movies like they used to, and I think that has a massive effect on the box office. It's just a fact. Movies cost too much to go see these days. So when you got movies like that came out years ago that are outperforming these movies now on ticket sales or adjusted for inflation, and then they say these movies out there now are blockbusters. Well, they just aren't. I think you guys were talking about it last week on Friday Night Tights. How I think it was, what was the Superman movie that came out like 5-6 years ago, 10 years ago now, or whatever?
Batman v Superman or Man of Steel.
No, it was the one that was like a sequel, the Brandon Routh one.
Superman Returns.
Superman Returns actually, I think, adjusted actually has outperformed the new Superman movie. I think is correct. I think that's right. If you adjust.
That's not right.
I that's what I heard, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's true. But
I think it's possible.
Well, you might want to check your numbers, because that's what I heard.
Yeah, do you have your facts in front of you, Brian?
Because Superman Returns only made Superman
395
already made more than what Returns made.
Yeah, that's the $391 million in 2006 money.
Yeah, 2006 money. What is it now? In this
Yeah,
month?
we're going back to the inflation argument. All right.
Yeah, because it's a real argument, Brian.
No, it doesn't. It goes both ways. We always talk about how much money they make, but if you want to inflate the value, then you need to inflate the cost, bro, too.
Here's the
You
thing.
can't just do the value.
And that's why I would not be saying so. But two things can be true at once. One, again, I'm not saying it is true because I have not crunched these numbers yet myself, but a movie can have made more than another film, right? Just raw total box office, but could also still have lost money. Both of those things can still be true. Just because you adjust for inflation and show, oh, look, this film made more money, that does not mean that the film that made more money is somehow profitable, right? That's not the same thing. And some people may not understand the differences between those two things, but I always, whenever I bring up inflation, I always try to also include that. What we can say, if inflation drives you crazy, is that less people have gone to see this movie versus that last movie.
I wished we used ticket sales and not dollars.
It should be ticket sales
for what we judge movies by.
Although it would be hard for any movie to ever succeed because ticket sales are down 50%.
Well, that's down
25%.
People aren't going to the movies now.
That's because TikTok wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah. You go back 10 years and we've seen a dramatic, I mean, like apocalyptic drop in people watching movies in the theater, regardless of the content.
Also, for the record, based off inflation, Superman Returns would be the equivalent of $625 million today. So,
and where's Superman?
Not at 625 yet.
So, okay, there you go.
Well, one of the things I want to ask you
doesn't mean it was a success, by the way. I'm not saying that Superman Returns was a success because I'm pretty sure it was a box office.
I made a doc on it. It lost money. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I want to ask the panel as a whole, though, is that so I know that Nerdrotic made this point, which I thought was very interesting in relation to the summer box office issue and just Hollywood in general, is that they went on strike. Right, Hollywood went on strike. The actors, the writers, all that stuff, and because of that, they kind of like did this self-inflicted wound for this year, where there wasn't enough inventory for like these studios to put out. They weren't able to get enough tentpole stuff done in time for the summer. And oftentimes we're seeing studios release stuff that they had planned on shelving simply to have something to release, like for instance, the Ironheart TV show and stuff like that. That was all stuff that I don't think was ever planned on being released, but they decided to release it anyway, simply to have something to put out there. So I wanted to get the panel's take on that. Do you think that that this is obviously it's a self-inflicted wound, but it's a much worse self-inflicted wound because of the strikes?
I mean, all of it adds together. That's just the thing. It's like it's all just compounding upon itself, right? You take all the actions, you take COVID itself, you take the actions that were decided on governmentally, societally because of COVID. You then take the decisions that the studios made to focus primarily on streaming, thinking that that would be the future. And in the end, what they basically did was they put a giant stick in their own in the spokes of their wheel that caused them to trip over themselves. And now that they're trying to recover, it's like, oh, good luck with that. You know, that same issue that you were kind of like the main proponent of all the issues that has led to your financial concerns and issues has been because of the things and decisions that you push for with the people in your pocket in Hollywood, the people in your pocket in politics, all that stuff. It's funny. It's all self-inflicted gun wounds at this point for Hollywood.
Yeah, they stick their the stick in the stoke. Like,
you know what's funny, guys, is we're talking about all these things about how movies affect the box office. And I just literally got a text from my wife. It said, "Hey, you want to get some popcorn and rent F1 on Monday night?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." So, I mean, that tells you that the normies out there are thinking about things. They're just thinking about different things and ways to consume them. You know, and going to the theaters isn't really on the list. I shit you not. She doesn't watch this show. She doesn't know what we're talking about. I got this text just now from my wife. So I just find it kind of interesting. You know, it's like, because she's been wanting to watch that movie all summer long. And I'm like, nah, no, I don't think so. I don't want to go watch it. See the car movie, but you know, I guess I'll stay home and spend $20 on it and get some popcorn and a couple drinks and sit on my couch and
watch it on my big TV. 1 week and you can watch it on Apple TV.
Yeah, maybe I will. I don't know. It's fine.
Well, guys, speaking about thinking about things differently, did you know that Jeffrey Wright is the subject of a hate-filled racist campain for him playing Commissioner Gordon in Batman?
Who is that?
So apparently Jeffrey Wright, this very well-known actor.
Yeah, the guy from Westworld.
He's a fantastic actor.
Mhm.
But he basically said that there was a backlash to him playing Commissioner Gordon that was effing racist and stupid. And this goes back to the original, the Batman from like a couple years ago. And he was doing an interview about how he had just posted that he had gotten the script for Batman 2. And he made this statement that there was like this huge kerfluffle over him being cast as Commissioner Gordon because people are just not culturally cognizant of the evolution of society and stuff like that. It's not 1939 anymore where everyone's white. But guys, I can't remember there being any outrage about Jeffrey Wright being cast as Commissioner Gordon. I remember there being a lot of outrage about Pattinson being cast as Batman.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone cared about Jeffrey Wright or Commissioner Gordon. So he's being called out by a lot of people saying like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, did you get like one DM that said like, I don't like you because you're black? It doesn't seem consistent. Do any of you guys remember, be like some type of like hate campaign against Jeffrey Wright?
No hate campaign. The most I remember was there was more of a, of course they did. Like that was like the extent of it basically. Maybe. But then everyone's immediate follow-up for the most part was, but hey, Jeffrey Wright's at least a good actor. So at least there's that. It was like, oh, really? They did this again, but you know what? At least he's a good actor. Whatever.
I think we might have had that conversation on this show.
Yeah.
We're going, oh man, he's a really good actor. He's going to do really good. It's like, yeah, they're probably trying to, fill in some check boxes and everything, for the thing. But, that was the least offensive thing about this movie that we had. My biggest problem was Sparkle Boy playing Batman. And I think it was a legitimate gripe. It's like, oh, look, mopey, sparkly vampire is going to play Batman. It's like, no. It's like nobody gave a crap who was playing Commissioner Gordon, unless they've cast RuPaul or something in the role. Nobody really gives a shit. But
yeah,
so I don't know.
That movie had so many problems that was not. And what's funny? I'm learning that there's a lot of people that really love the Batman, and I have to just assume that some people are going to love Batman almost no matter what, which is fine. I like Superman pretty much no matter what, so I get it. But you're right, man. Pattinson was the wrong choice for Batman. He wasn't a good Batman. He wasn't a good Bruce Wayne. And at the very least, you have to be one of those two. It would be great if we got both, but rarely do we get both a good Batman and a good Bruce Wayne. Robert Pattinson was both a bad Batman and a bad Bruce Wayne. Didn't make any sense.
Well, also, I think that there was more backlash about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Yeah,
than
she wasn't
there ever
very
was about Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that. I remember people complaining about that because she doesn't look anything like Catwoman.
Well,
Sorry.
also, it wasn't because she was black. It's because she's not attractive and she's like super tiny. She's like 3 feet tall, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, black was just part of it. I think she doesn't fit the character in any way.
I think in today's day and age and the way everybody's divided on everything, anytime these people have a chance to go out and I don't know what the term I'm looking for is, but to say stuff that will get us talking about woke nonsense, they're gonna take it. It's like, oh well, they're complaining with me because I'm black and yada yada yada. It's like, no, we're complaining about it, whatever, because we don't think you're right for the role. I mean, yeah, Commissioner Gordon has traditionally been played by a white guy, but and I'm guilty of calling that out in many movies. I don't feel like he was cast correctly. It'd be like casting Ryan Reynolds as T'Challa or whatever. We don't want to see that. We want these roles to be cast correctly in the way these characters are in our brains and how they look in the comic books.
Ryan Gosling is Black Panther.
Yeah, exactly. And if they did that, the world would fucking explode. Dude.
Oh yeah,
it would just be crazy.
It'd be fun. There'd be fucking riots.
Sorry if we don't want some black dude to play Superman. It's just it's just how I am. It's just it is the way it is.
I just want the characters to look like the characters.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon to me is a white haired guy with a mustache and glasses. Like in the comic books and in the animated series. That's my Commissioner Gordon. But I don't have a problem with Jeffrey Wright playing Commissioner Gordon in this role. I thought he was fine. And why we're talking about it now,
There were bigger problems, man.
2 or
with that
3
movie.
fucking years later is beyond me, man. I
Well,
don't understand.
I still can't get over the "Hey guys," like that line. I just still, when they turned Riddler into an alt-right guy, I was like, nope, this is stupid. I'm done. And any goodwill that they might have had in like the early scenes, and with the only good like sequence that I enjoyed was everything with Penguin. From that point on, I was like, no, this sucks. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? Like this whole thing about Jeffrey Wright coming out and calling everyone racist and stupid because there was this huge backlash against him. I feel like it's revisionist history and a great degree of gaslighting, because I don't think anyone like I don't remember there being any outcry about like him being cast as Jeffrey Wright or as Commissioner Gordon. And if there was, it was like a flash in the pan and nobody like really cared about it. But he's trying to like rewrite history to make himself a victim and also call attention to this movie. And again, I think this also comes down to the fact that nobody knows what the fuck is going on with DC right now. It's like, is Pattinson's Batman canon Batman in this new like Gunniverse? Like what the fuck is going on? I really wish James Gunn would just come out and just like lay it out as like what's canon, what isn't, you know? I know that he's saddled with like, you know, Matt Reeves had like a contract for like, you know, at least a sequel or something like that. And they have to like go forward with this movie, even though like James Gunn might not want to go forward with it. But at the same time, it's like, dude, is there any way to like, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths this shit so that like we have like a cohesive vision of like what it is we're watching?
That would be funny if they did that. It's like just bring him in from the other universe. Isn't that what they're doing with John Cena? With that, they're like
essentially
melding all the universes together. So yeah,
that's how I think it. Yeah.
Well, also, did anyone see the ending of the Flash movie? I mean,
they could have just done that. DC made some really poor decisions during that transition. I mean, before and during the transitionary period. Like you had the Flash movie with Flashpoint. You could have just done this. You could have canonically explained everything with the last movie in the DCEU, but you chose not to. I don't understand. And there was reshoots. Like, bro, James Gunn was in charge. James Gunn should have been like, okay, guys, I know this movie sort of sucks. I know Ezra Miller is a fucking freak and he should be in prison. But we have a perfect opportunity right now to actually introduce our new universe without any issues. Let's reshoot the last few seasons of this scenes of this movie and set up this next universe perfectly. And they chose not to, while telling us it was the best movie ever. What? I don't get it. I don't understand.
They also kept the actor who's playing Lobo as his character Aquaman at the end of the movie.
And they kept that scene. I don't understand. Why not just tie it together? And maybe it was because James Gunn saw the movie and he's like, I don't want this having any connection to my franchise. But then it didn't help when he goes online and be like, one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen. Like, bro, you're killing me. First off, either actively participate or shut up. Like, don't be involved. Like, if you really don't want the stink of that universe on your new universe, then just stay out of the limelight until that shit is over. But I don't know, man. Bad decisions. That was poor decisions.
Also, how they did the retcon in Peacemaker, where like, you know, like he at the end of last episode of the first season, he comes walking out having defeated the alien menace, and the Justice League is there, right? Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash. Then in the DC universe thing that they did for the first episode, they come out. It's the Justice Gang. It's Mr. Terrific, Superman, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern.
That's how you know this is not the same DC
and Superwoman. Well, but I mean, like from the normies' perspective, Brian, what are people supposed to fucking think?
Yeah. No, I get it. But canonically, he doesn't have the little bug. The ghost of his dad's not there. There's other things that are also not connected, and you'll see more coming up here pretty soon. I don't want to spoil anything, but the thing is this: there's a lot of little inconsistencies in the current Peacemaker we're watching that were not in the Peacemaker from the first season, with the locations of the door, the cars, the color of the houses. Like, there's all kinds of little things that are different that you're not noticing. But but you will notice that.
So it's a
that
different
this is
Peacemaker. That's what you're telling us.
It's a different Peacemaker, bro.
Okay.
It's a different
It
Peacemaker.
sounds like a cluster.
Here's the thing. I do want to talk about Peacemaker just very briefly, though, because I got caught up last night. I'm 3 episodes in, and I was a big fan of the first season. I really liked the first season of Peacemaker. I wasn't a big fan of the first episode of this season, but episodes 2 and 3 I thought were like very entertaining. And other than like the weird, freakish, like full frontal orgy nudity and stuff like that, I thought that the scene with Eagly in episode 2 was fucking phenomenal.
Gangster.
Especially with all the bird blindness.
That's a stupid joke.
I actually thought it was a pretty funny joke. And I like how Tim Meadows, they're setting him up to be like this parody of Nick Fury in the DC universe, where he's just like, like I got my dick sucked by 2 hot bitches at the same time, like,
Right.
And his name is Flurry,
Yeah, it's funny.
but then in the 3rd episode where Peacemaker like fights those domestic terrorists, I was like, God damn, this is like really fucking entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
So like it's slowly winning me over, but I also think that it's not a good like setup or bridge for like what the movies are planning for, because it is very adult, it's hyper violent, it's hypersexual, and it doesn't seem like a good thing for like like parents who go to Superman with their kids or like whatever to sit down and watch. And I know that they're saying, oh, you don't have to watch it to know what's going on or like whatever. But James Gunn has publicly come out and said like, this is the prequel to Supergirl, or like, the next thing in the DCEU, or like whatever the case
Yeah,
may
he
be.
needs to shut up.
Yeah,
James Gunn needs to stop talking so much. Just make cool shit and shut up. I don't get it.
And
Bro,
please-
when he took over the DCU, and he's like, okay, I feel the need to come out here before the DCEU is even done and announce all my movies I'm planning on doing in this 30-minute live stream on like Instagram. I'm like, bro, that was so unnecessary. First off, the studio you work for has 3 or 4 movies still coming out attached to this last universe. Let's not even talk about your universe right now. You need to be in the background making cool shit and let this universe play out. Till then, stop. Just brief, introductions to yourself. And when that universe does finally end, whether with a whimper or a bang, then you can get in the line, you can get in the front and start marketing your stuff. But even then, you got to learn how to hold back and stop talking about. Normies are not listening to James Gunn on Instagram or Threads or Blue Sky or wherever the hell that guy is. They're not going to his stuff and learning about the universe in his stupid social media post. So all most normies know about is the stuff they're watching on live action, which means that all of your information needs to be in live action. We cannot take your word for it in a random reply on some nerd's thread post. That's not how it works. This is canonical movie and TV, which means that whatever is canonical needs to be on screen, period, the end. I don't care what James Gunn says before or after the fact.
Also, I find it weird that his tone for these things is so radically different. Whereas like Superman's very kind of like optimistic and like family friendly and to a certain extent and stuff like that. Whereas like the Peacemaker thing is extremely adult, very cynical, like kind of carries over like the themes from like the first season. So like it there's no like tonal consistency. Like at least Marvel, for all their faults, kept a tonal consistency across like all their properties, where it's like if you went to a Marvel movie or watched a Marvel TV show, you kind of knew what you were getting into. Whereas with DC so far, like there's no predictability to it. It's so uneven and it varies so widely that it's hard for people to be like, okay, like what am I watching?
Yeah, and not in the good way, right? Because there can be a variety of genres, right? Because you can do different genres and you can do different takes. But especially like this early on, when you're trying to reboot or start up a new franchise from scratch that is already in a disarray because of Snyder and all of his garbage, and because of Warner Brothers and all the crap that they've done, they needed to have, again, the first film be a home run. And obviously we have different opinions on that. I don't think it was a home run. And then you had to follow it up with something good, and you had to follow it up with something that could keep the momentum going. But again, this is not really being made for a wide audience in any way.
I don't understand it at all, because I I know a lot of people who, like, if they watched that first episode of Peacemaker, thinking they were getting an introduction to James Gunn's new DC universe, and they had kids, those kids would never see another James Gunn DC movie ever until they were old enough to go do it themselves. Because parents that I know just wouldn't expose their kids to that stuff. It's not for kids entertainment. And these are characters that should be kid friendly. You know, these are comic book superheroes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know my generation, your guys' generations grew up reading these comic books, and as we grew older, the subject matter and the art style and everything got older and more mature with us. But I don't feel like they're really making these movies for us, and they need to cultivate a new, younger audience, and they need to, you know, establish their new viewer base. And they're not going to get that 9, 10, 11-year-old kid demographic by putting stuff out there with fucking orgies and, you know, decapitations in it. I'm sorry, you know, it doesn't bother me a whole lot, but I wouldn't take my 8-year-old kid to a movie if I thought it was in the same universe that this Peacemaker stuff is from, even if it is Superman. You know, it's from the same guy. I'm sorry, it's just how I feel. And the tonal stuff with these things is, like you said, it's all over the place, and it doesn't make any sense. And like you said earlier, the Marvel stuff was good at keeping that same kind of PG 13-ish tone through all of its content, all 30, 40 movies, whatever. I wouldn't have any issue taking a kid to see hardly any of those things. You know what I'm saying? And with the DC universe now, it's like you've said it before, Brian, I'm going to have to pre-watch this stuff if I want to see if my kids should be exposed to whatever this new DC product is that's coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I think it's a sad thing. I really do, because these movies should be made for everybody, but whatever.
Yeah. Peacemaker probably shouldn't even be in this universe. I mean, I understood first off, I love Peacemaker, and I like both both seasons. But if you're making a brand new universe that is a little more fun, more family entertainment, like, maybe just don't bring Peacemaker over. 100%. Real criticism that and even though I like Peacemaker, like, maybe you shouldn't have brought that character over.
Not this early.
Maybe make him Elseworlds if you want to continue Peacemaker. Like, make him Elseworlds like the Batman, which is so stupid.
But that's the thing. You can't do that this early. You can't do an Elseworlds thing this early, because that just creates more confusion. Like, what Gunn needed to do was step in and say, no, we're starting, here's the fresh, brand new DCU. This is canon, this is canon, this is canon. All these films going forward. And then over time, as that world begins to get built, then you can go Elseworlds. Once you have a mainstream movie that deals with your multiverse stuff in a clear, consistent way, that's when you can start going that direction. But to do that as your second thing, and then saying, oh yeah, we're putting this Superman on VOD because of Peacemaker, and putting all these, again, kind of things of lining up with, oh, Peacemaker should be watched in some way. It's not for families, but it should be watched in some way. Like, that is, I think, James Gunn's just, again, getting full of himself in just that same way he always does.
Right.
Guys,
you ain't wrong.
Speaking of appealing to a younger demographic, did you guys hear the big announcement this past week, which is that there's a Call of Duty movie officially in the pipeline? Now, Call of Duty is one of the most popular video game IPs out there, and because of the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie and stuff like that, movie studios are putting a lot of stock in their video game IPs. But Activision, like one of their number one video game franchises is the Call of Duty franchise. And now that Paramount's merger has gone through with Skydance and they have a new CEO, they went really hard at this behind the scenes negotiations to basically secure the Call of Duty franchise from Activision. So Paramount's going to be producing this movie, which they're hoping is going to be bringing in all like the Call of Duty fans and stuff like that. But what was really interesting to me, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Steven Spielberg is a huge Call of Duty fan. Yeah. And he had been approaching Activision about doing the Call of Duty movie himself. Like, he wanted that to be his next big project. And but he asked for creative control and final cut of the movie. And basically Activision got spooked by that and signed with Paramount because Paramount would allow them to have more control over the finished product. And the replies to this are great, where it's like Activision hates good ideas. The director behind Saving Private Ryan wanted Call of Duty, and he was basically told no. Director of Saving Private Ryan and the executive producer, Band of Brothers, The Pacific, and Masters of Air. Honestly, he's too good for the over-the-top slop of a franchise. And then this is my favorite, this meme where it's from Ghostbusters, where Winston says, Activision, when Steven Spielberg asks you to turn your shit into a movie, you say yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
And so like I wanted to get everyone's take on this. Do you think it was a mistake for Activision to go with Paramount as opposed to Steven Spielberg?
Not necessarily. And I go back to Ready Player One. Ready Player One is a great book. The movie sucked. The movie was not good at all, and it was a terrible adaptation. And it wasn't,
sucked is a little harsh, but you're not wrong.
In comparison to the book, absolutely.
In comparison to the book, yeah, it's garbage.
Absolutely.
But in comparison to other movies around that time, it was actually pretty good.
But it was also not. Again, it also wasn't the biggest moneymaker in the world either.
No,
so again, that in and of itself, it goes back to what I said before. Certain names aren't guaranteed to do anything, right? Because also Spielberg was behind that West Side Story remake, and that film did nothing, right? So a name alone is not going to do it. It's going to be a name with a certain project, with a specific vision in mind. And Spielberg, at this point in his career, I just don't think he's the person that you go with in a guaranteed success way.
Well, according to Twitter, which is never wrong, Steven Spielberg has been a fan of the video game, and he plays the video game on the regular for like years. And so like he wanted to do like something that was, I guess, not unique, but honored the video game, right? The original story and stuff like that. But I also thought that it was funny, again, big shout out for the comments of this, where it was like Spielberg probably didn't want to put the battle pass and clown skins in the movie, which is why he lost it. But Dutch Butters,
they didn't want the dancing emotes, right?
Yeah. Dutch Butters is our gaming guy here on the panel.
Don't do that to me.
Don't do that to me. I want to ask you, Dutch. First of all, what's your take on Call of Duty?
I'm not qualified to talk about Call of Duty. First off, number one, this was not in the notes. There is no link to anything about Call of Duty in this week's notes.
What are you talking about? Yes,
I didn't see it. I missed it. Second off, I don't play Call of Duty. I think it's a trash game. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. It's for a bunch of spazzy spurgers out there that play these games. It's not my style of shooter game. But thirdly, I think a Call of Duty movie would be fantastic, and I think Steven Spielberg could probably do a great job of making it fun and interesting. It's just this is a franchise that came out and has been developed over the years. Over my World of Warcraft time, it was just being developed when I was playing something else. So I know very little about the Call of Duty world, and the movies would literally be my first real immersion into it. So I'm not the right guy to talk about it, but let's see it. Let's see what happens, man. So is Spielberg not going to be part of it, or is he?
I mean, as of right now, he has nothing to do with it. But I want to ask Brian. Brian, do you think there's a chance that Paramount could bring Spielberg on board to direct the movie?
Yeah, there is. Didn't Skydance have a good relationship with Spielberg for a while?
I don't know, but I know that Paramount has a long history of Spielberg with the Indiana Jones films and stuff like that.
You're right, and I think that's go to Skydance. So there's a lot of relationship building already there. Like, I can totally see them. You guys remember that? There was a movie, I think it was Superman 2, like Christopher Reeves. I completely forgot, but there was a movie. No, it was I think it was Superman 2. Anyways, there was a movie that came out, and it doesn't matter which one it was, but there was a director that really wanted the film. I think it was actually Terminator. It was Terminator 2. Thank you. The director wanted the film. He wanted to continue the film with his style, right? And his buddies got wind that he was buying the rights, and they swooped in and bought the rights before he could, and they go, hey, we bought the rights so you can make the movie you want. And he's like, what the fuck, bro? I was buying the rights. And really what they were doing was they were buying the rights so they can try to piggyback on what they thought was going to be like automatically successful. So Paramount picking this up and then still, or Skylines, whatever it is, and then still giving it to Spielberg is just a cool little way, just an extra step for them to make money on something they think might already be successful.
All right. Well, guys, speaking of successful, we got a super chat from Fluffy Panda for $5. They already made a COD movie called Act of Valor. On the upside, they can't ruin Call of Duty any more than Activision have already been ruining it.
True
Call
that,
of Duty
bro.
sucks.
Activision.
Yeah. They've been really driving that franchise into the ground. I remember Modern Warfare when that came out. That was like the pinnacle of the Call of Duty stuff. And then like it just like tanked. But like I'd never heard of the Act of Valor movie. But then again, like
I don't think that was an official Call of Duty movie. I think that was a movie with real soldiers portraying soldiers. That's what I thought that film was.
Could
Right.
be.
So it was just a war movie.
Yeah. with characters similar to active Call of Duty.
Yeah,
characters.
that's sort of like watching like
I do have to say real quick there was an article in the notes today about this. Somehow
Yes.
I just
I know
skipped
there
right
was.
over it. I just skipped right over it. I don't know. I just didn't see it. But
It helps to look at it before 10 minutes before the show.
well,
So,
that's very true.
It helps just to not look at it all and just
Yeah.
kind of go.
guy.
No, I
Because then
think
I never have to make the mistake of it wasn't in there.
I always get nervous about video game movies because you never know what you're gonna get. Are you gonna get a Street Fighter, which I guess is a kind of a cult classic, or you're gonna get a World of Warcraft movie? I like them both for what you got, but I don't know. It's very strange.
The problem with saying Act of Valor is a Call of Duty movie is like saying Valerian was Mass Effect movie.
He has followed it up saying he was being ironic. So,
Oh, I see. Oh, my bad. I didn't.
which I kind of figured, like I was saying, I was like, I assume he's being ironic here, but just in case.
yeah, Fluffy Panda, just stick to bad mouthing Brian. That's all.
Yeah,
I wish I was better at the Call of Duty type games, but my Twitch reflex doesn't work with my arthritis.
Says the guy who
and my-
plays Helldivers.
Well, that's not that hard of a game, dude. So it is what it's.
It was hard for me. Damn, bro.
Well,
I couldn't get out of that spawn point. I was just
But
getting
man,
Playing on
that-
story mode or
Battlefield 6 is coming out in a few weeks, and that's going to be. I'm going to be training up my Twitch reflex really hard.
that game legitimately looks outstanding.
It looks
I haven't
really
seen
good.
a trailer for a game in a long time that made me go, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Like it looks so good. Holy crap!
There's a lot of good games coming out in the next couple months.
Right.
So
And you guys know what else was good was this episode of Salty Saturdays. I want to thank
Yeah,
everyone
it's
for
been-
being
Look at
here.
that.
We had a lot to talk about, and we talked about it. I want to thank my fantastic panel of nerds for showing up, unlike Tom Connors Jr., who officially is dead to me anyway. But hopefully Tom will be joining us again next week after his resurrection. We'll just offer him some cereal to show up, and I'm sure he'll be here with bells on. Anyway, Odin of OMB Reviews, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Yeah, you can find me over at OMB Reviews on YouTube, Rumble, over on the Twitter/X, all the good stuff there. And as far as final thoughts, I'll have to let Tom know that if I end up getting to make it to dinner tonight where he might be present. So if he's still alive, I will be able to confirm it and then also send the message that...
Let us know.
I will.
Blow the horn of Gondor if he's alive.
Yeah. Tell that not YouTuber Mexican Iron Man to return our Tom to us because he's been monopolizing his time lately.
Uncool.
Prepping for the apocalypse. Brian from the Popcast, any final thoughts? What are you going to be talking about on the Brain Show immediately after this show's over?
Final thoughts. It was not nearly as inflammatory as it usually is with Odin, so that means I'm gonna miss this a little bit. No final thoughts. I think Hollywood needs to get their shit together. I think that they're thinking everything backwards, and I don't want to repeat everything I just said, but I'll say this: going after the international markets is a mistake. Go after the domestic market. Make the domestic market great again. God dang it! And you know what will happen? The foreign market will follow because they always have. The foreign market has always looked to us as to what's cool and what should buy and what they should be consuming as consumers. So stop focusing on people that have no taste of their own and just focus domestically. And if you do that and you make good shit, then China and India and everyone else with dollars that with populations that have less to do with your income ratio will follow. Please.
Yes, and speaking of income ratio, Fluffy Panda for $2 says, "I'll be a cranky old man if you need a fill-in." Well, Panda, we've got Dutch Butters who is our resident cranky old man. Dutch, any final thoughts and what's going on the gaming channel?
Oh, gaming channel. We like I just said, we got Battlefield 6 coming out in a few weeks. Up until then, we're still playing Helldivers, and we're enjoying the new content that they just put out. We're fighting big giant hive monsters and going underground now in tunnels, and it's crazy. It's a crazy game right now. If they could not break it while they put new content out, that would be fantastic. But that's just how Arrowhead Studios rolls. You know, we're trucking along, man. We're trucking along. Everything's doing great. So,
but what's going on in the Salty Nerd Discord?
Shut up, Ryan.
Yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
I
before we
don't.
get out of here.
They can come join us over there and talk video games in the Salty Nerd Discord. Yeah, man.
All right. Want to give a big shout out to Kalikioki and Fluffy Panda for their support during the live stream. We didn't quite hit our goal of 10 gifted subs, so basically Dutch will never be seen on the show again.
Yeah, good. I'm tired of this shit. That's fine.
Yeah, but guys, like I want to thank everyone for showing up today. I know that our schedule has been very inconsistent lately, but hopefully now that the summer is behind us, we'll be able to correct that and be back to our regularly scheduled programming that nobody cares about and nobody watches. So, but until next time, my friends, stay salty, and we're going to leave you once again.
Don't do it. Don't you fucking do it.
With our dance challenge.
Don't please.
To bring
don't.
in the Utes.
Don't
to bring
do
in the
it.
Utes.